Hi there, I'm Peter Upfold, and I'm back for part 2 of my SleekTabs tutorial. If you haven't seen part 1, then I suggest you go over and check it out and watch it before you get started on part 2, otherwise it won't make an awful lot of sense. So we'll pick straight up from where we left off. Our SleekTabs installation works for Ajax, but we need to configure the fallback, so if a user doesn't have JavaScript or a bot like a search engine wants to browse the tabs, they still can. I'll show you the fallback system and how we get it implemented in our page. So let's open back up. So here's the page we had back from part 1. If I now turn off JavaScript on my browser, here in Firefox on the Content tab of Preferences, and then I reload the page, you'll notice that now I click on those tabs and nothing happens. The page is actually reloading, but obviously you can't see it again. If we look up here in the URL, you'll see that fallback URL is being browsed to, i.e. file name of the current page, and then the question mark load equals and the tab's name. We need to configure index.php now to read this variable and do something useful with it, i.e. to preload that tab so that even if JavaScript is off, the tabs still work, they just degrade gracefully. So let's go back to the code and get started on configuring this. Let's scroll down to the first thing we need to deal with, which is the draw tabs line, and specifically the argument here. The argument here sets the tab that should look selected when the page is loaded. Before, we always knew that was going to be information, but now it could be any of the tabs. So we need to add a switch statement in PHP that will go through all the possible values of the load parameter and then choose the right tab to look selected depending on which one's set. So let's build that switch statement now. We need to switch by the get variable load, and then we need a case for each one of the tabs. Start with information, we can leave that line intact there, and do the same for contact, and you get the idea, so I'll fill the rest in. Finally, we add the default statement, which says if the variable is not set, then obviously it's a normal page load and it needs to be set to information just as it was before. There's only one thing left to deal with to get the fallback working. If we scroll down, we need to do exactly the same thing we've done, but for the preloading line. You'll see here we've got a single preloader, which includes the information.php file. We need to use a switch statement again to go through all the choices that load could be and load the correct file in according to that. So again, we'll just build the same simple switch statement. I'll walk you through one and then I'll speed things up. So again, it's case information and we can keep this require line intact. For all the others, it's just case, name of the tab, require the file name. Once again, we default to information.php just as we did before we set up that switch statement. So on a normal page load, everything works just like it did before. So I save that file, I'm back in my browser, and I'll click reload. Remember, JavaScript is still off in my web browser. Now, when I click any of these tabs, the browser goes to the fallback URL, as you can see here in the location bar, and the contact tab is now selected as it should be, and its content appears in the box. It's now working. The tabs work, no matter whether you have JavaScript on or off. Again, you can see it goes and it changes that load variable depending on which tab I clicked. And it doesn't interfere with the Ajax either. If I turn JavaScript back on, reload the page, as soon as SleekTabs knows JavaScript is back on, it will instantly use the Ajax functionality. So now we've got every element of SleekTabs working. The Ajax works wherever available to provide a really good user experience for loading those tabs, and where it can't, the fallback will take you manually over and the user can still see the content they're looking for. And that's one of the great things about SleekTabs, is it largely handles that for you and prevents you from having to do a lot more work. Nevertheless, you will have noticed that the process of setting up the fallback is still quite involved and still a bit too much effort on your part. Now, I'm not sure the best way to address this right now, but I'm open to suggestions to be incorporated into a future SleekTabs release. Heck, if you've even got code, I'll take it and I'll see what I can do with it. Anyway, thank you for watching all the way through this SleekTabs tutorial. Thank you for being a user of SleekTabs. I hope it's useful to you. I hope it solves a problem. Don't forget that all of the files from this tutorial are available on the SleekTabs webpage on my site, which is peter.upfold.org.uk/projects/SleekTabs. So you can download all the support files there and run through the project yourself at your own pace. That pretty much wraps it up, so I'll see you in a future video tutorial, I'm sure. I'm Peter Upfold, I'm the creator of SleekTabs, and see you next time.